Hi, I'm Tom Cruise, and as an actor, I've been through some really challenging times making films like the Mission Impossible and Jack Reacher franchises. I know all about going the extra mile and how much commitment it takes to do extraordinary things. That's why I have nothing but admiration for all the people who completed DC2NYC, a fantastic 400-mile bike ride for the UK charity Rugby League Cares. Rugby League Cares does so much good in its communities, and it's thanks to the efforts of all the heroes taking part in DC2NYC that they can make such a difference. Like any other challenge, success comes down to preparation, and many of the riders involved in DC2NYC got in some serious training before they headed to the States in September.
John's a liar. Why? Small hills, he said. Small hills. Little bumps it road.
The world looks great from the perspective of a bike saddle, even though one of the riders, the accident-prone Nick Groom, didn't look particularly great when he took a tumble on one of his solo training rides. No pain, no gain, as they say, and everyone was in good shape when they flew to Washington, D.C. from Manchester and Heathrow on September 5th, ahead of the start of the ride 2 days later. The day before they set off for New York City, the riders got to explore the U.S. Capitol, Washington, D.C., and its many historic sites, including the White House, the Lincoln Memorial, and Washington Monument, location for famous scene in Forrest Gump, and the Capitol building. Some riders went to Arlington Cemetery, while others paid a visit to the Korean War Memorial. So much history to see in just one day. Many of the roads in the center of D.C. were closed during the day for another cycling event, which brought out the competitive edge in a couple of the DC2NYC riders who clearly did feel the need for speed.
He's down a blind alley. Sculthorpe takes over. Sculthorpe's in again. Sculthorpe! But Paul Sculthorpe, the man of steel, the players' player of the year, saw a gap and darted through it.
Before we hit the road, I do think it's worth introducing a few of the riders, especially the ones who added that special sprinkle of stardust to this awesome event. DC2NYC featured not one but two members of the Rugby League Hall of Fame, Adrian Morley and Paul Sculthorpe, plus Sean Lunt, the former England international hooker. Great athletes in their day, I'm sure you'll agree. But it's such a shame that, like me, they've let themselves go. The ride once again had its ever-present rider, James Elston, who has cycled in every Rugby League Cares ride since 2017, and whose company, Green Central, were the principal partners of this event. What a great lineup. The first morning of DC2NYC began like the morning of every Rugby League Cares ride, with lots of feeding, faffing, and loading of the support vehicle.
Morning everyone, just starting day one of this epic DC to New York bike ride with my old mate Mozza. We're off to Baltimore today, 92 miles. Just want to say a massive thank you to Green Central, our main sponsors, and a special mention to my old mates at Mosaic Chambers as well, one of our principal sponsors on the jerseys.
Thanks.
Looking forward to it, big man.
I am, mate. Yeah, the weather was a bit better than yesterday, but it's a bit rainy. But looking forward to it. It'll be a great challenge.
Fine rain, the Peter K. kind that soaks you through, greeted the riders as they set off for the official start at the Lincoln Memorial, where they were watched on by the President's National Guard before they set off down the National Mall past the reflection pool. Quick photo stop at the White House. Thankfully, it was a lot sunnier in DC when I filmed Minority Report here.
How did he die?
Day brightened as the riders headed towards their lunch stop by the quayside in the pretty town of Annapolis, Maryland, where Nav Uppel from Rugby League Cares caught up with the ubiquitous James Elston.
I'm here with Jimmy Elston, who is the CEO and owner of Green Central, who are our title sponsors for the ride this year. Thanks for your support, Jimmy. So day one, we're here in Annapolis at the lunch stop. How have you found it so far?
Well, tough but fantastic as always. It's we started off in Washington this morning. We've been back round all the monuments to the White House to see Lincoln, and then you've got to get out of the city, which is never easy. You're stopping at lights. It's a little bit frustrating to get going at first, and then once we've got more on the open roads, we've been following a trail. We missed our first stop because some of the riders tried to go too fast. Not me.
Not you.
But then, we've made it to this fantastic. We've seen some beautiful places on the way. Some people are feeling it. We're 60 miles in.
Yep.
Some of the people are, we're having to go back and make sure people are okay and wait for people. And, we've got all range of abilities and athletic abilities. So it's been really, really good.
Refueled with sandwiches and coffee, and with 50 miles in their legs, the riders had a further 40 miles to go to reach their overnight hotel in Baltimore. Unfortunately, Mike Morris, who could find a dropped drawing pin from half a mile away while blindfolded, succumbed to the first of many punctures he'd have over the coming days. Pleased to say that all 17 riders made it safely to their hotel in Baltimore for a few drinks, a big sleep, and another tough day ahead. Here's an interesting fact. The TV show The Wire's set in Baltimore, and the rugby league club Warrington Wolves are not mentioned at all. There was yet more faffing, packing, and messing with bikes by the riders as they prepared to leave their Baltimore hotel for the start of day two, when Huddersfield royalty Nav Uphall caught up with a rugby league legend, Paul Sculthorpe.
Everyone, I'm here with rugby league legend Paul Sculthorpe. So Paul, it's your first year on the ride, and we had the first day yesterday from Washington to Baltimore. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was obviously fantastic to do with Rugby League Cares, and it's been a brilliant trip so far. Obviously got day one out of the way yesterday. It was a wet start in Washington, 7:30 leave, and thankfully the sun come out, but 92 miles in the bag. Everyone got through it. Great effort from everybody. A few scrapes and punches along the way, but we're now ready to head to Aberdeen.
And you're a keen cyclist because you were in the front group, I think, for most of the day. Is that right?
Yeah, I do like cycling and that, and it's one of them. Get to the destination as quick as you can, of course. So it was a good ride. We pushed it hard, and really look forward to getting back on the bike tomorrow.
Day one had been the longest of the week, and day two was the lumpiest, with plenty of short, sharp hills as the route meandered between fields of corn and tobacco towards Aberdeen. DC2NYC was Capuchin Augur's second Rugby League Cares ride, but the hills proved a challenge for the Sheffield Eagles prop forward, who was defiantly not going to be beaten by gravity.
How are you enjoying your second Rugby League Cares ride?
Before today, very much so. Today, it's tough.
You not liking the hills?
No, not very. Heavy people don't like hills. No, but it's sunny, great company, so I guess we gotta push through.
What made you sign up for a second bite at the cherry after riding in Ireland last year?
I think the people first, then the cause, because every penny counts for these wonderful things they do. Definitely not the hills. It's supposed to be flat, once again.
Who told you it was flat?
John Ledger is a liar. Everyone knows that.
Outrageous statement. You've been hearing from my lawyers.
I'm dying.
The rest of the day passed by without incident, other than a couple of mechanical issues for James Elston and Adrian Morley, who also came in a distant second in a bodybuilding showdown with Helen Teasdale After 2 tough, if really enjoyable days in the saddle, the riders were understandably too tired to try their hand at baseball by the time they arrived at their hotel next to the Rip Ken Stadium in Aberdeen, Maryland. Day 3 of DC2NYC was a real doozy, 60 unforgettable miles from Aberdeen across the state border to Wilmington, Delaware. Standing between the two cities was the Susquehanna River and a busy road bridge that was forbidden to cyclists except on Sundays. This being a Tuesday, RL Cares put in a special request to the bridge authorities, who stopped all traffic and provided a police escort for the riders and their support vehicles on the 1.5-mile crossing. What a great experience, and a huge thank you to Officer Plant for being such a champion. After successfully crossing the bridge without crashing into the river, something I seem to struggle to do in my movies, the riders headed to Chesapeake Bay for coffee and donuts and a chance to catch up with the locals. It was plain sailing as they entered Delaware and made their way to Wilmington, home of former U.S. President Joe Biden.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there to welcome all the riders from Rugby League Cares. It would have been an honor to meet you all, especially Doc Dave Graham and Kevin Farabee, who, if I remember rightly, were both at school with my pop way back when. What you're all doing for the great people in rugby league communities is fantastic, and I applaud you. Well done, folks.
We're on day 3 now. We started off in Aberdeen and we're on our en route to Wilmington. How have you found it today?
Camaraderie is great.
Yeah.
Everyone's having a good time. There's not been as many punctures today as there has been first couple of days. But I think everyone's enjoying it. And I'm just looking at my mate playing a different sport. I'm just going to shoot a few.
Get in there, Moz. Let's see you take a shot.
There we go.
Let's see if we can do it. One shot, Morley. No, didn't happen.
Not my sport.
Maybe next time. Thanks, Moz.
Day 4 was a short one, just 40 miles from Wilmington to the historic city of Philadelphia. But before we began, I had a bit of risky business to attend to. Writer James Rothwell had brought a speedy Pinarello bike with him and needed to be slowed down. This was my opportunity. I'm pleased to say that no Jimmies were injured in the making of this film, not even this one. The route got prettier as the riders headed for Philly, passing through covered bridges and past endless fields of corn. After a quick stop for refreshments at a friendly diner, most of the team continued on, but not Nathan Groom, who fell and broke his derailleur. Mike Morris's bad luck continued with 3 more punctures, leaving him with inner tubes as thin as the snake that appeared to have died with fright at the sight of Adrian Morley. With a little help, Mike got back on the road and was able to join everyone else for a special moment in Philly. With all their bad luck behind them, the riders had all the right moves in Philadelphia as they arrived at the city's Museum of Art steps, the location of an unforgettable scene in the 1979 movie Rocky starring Sylvester Stallone. Having come all this way, nothing was going to stop the Rugby League Cares heroes following in the footsteps of the legendary Rocky. What a great experience, what amazing memories for a very special group of people who had been punching above their weight on their bikes over the previous 4 days. After a big night out in Philly, day 5 started steadily as the weary riders plodded their way through city streets and busy suburbs to reach quiet country trails on the East Coast Greenway. Bagpiper playing in the woods offered some surprise entertainment before the team reached a morning coffee stop in Hulmesville, Pennsylvania. Here's an interesting fact. Hulmesville was founded in 1700 by the Hulme family, migrants from Cheshire, England. Could there be a link to Paul and David Hulme, two brothers who were outstanding for Widnes and Great Britain back in the day? After coffee and cake, it was back on the road where some local kids showed how bikes really should be ridden. Short hop down the Delaware and Raritan Canal took the riders to lunch at Princeton University Rowing Club, where it was clear the pace was taking its toll on Adrian Morley and Neil Farrow. The rest of the day was spent riding along the pretty canal towpath into New Brunswick, New Jersey, just 50 miles from the finish on Manhattan Island. Unfortunately, the day ended with a nasty fall when Steve Smethurst hit a pothole at 20 miles per hour near New Brunswick and was thrown from his bike. Unfortunately, the impact of the big lad from Salford left a big impression on both the road and Smeds himself, who suffered cuts and bruises. He was in for an uncomfortable night, but had lived to ride another day, but that's another story. Day 6. The last day should have been an easy one, just 50 miles from New Brunswick to New York City via Staten Island and a free ferry ride. But after 5 days of exertion, all the riders were tired. Some of the higher bikes were falling apart, and painfully so was Steve Smethurst. After determining that his ribs weren't broken, Smeds decided to ride through the pain in the hope of making it to Manhattan. So on the morning of September 12th, all 17 riders took a wrong turn out of their hotel in New Brunswick, turned right around and headed for New York City.
Are you sure this is the right road? Will you hush up? You and your maps.
Oh, for goodness sake! You're ruining my video! I give up. I give up.
Everything went smoothly at first, only for Smeds to have a bit of a mare. It emerged that his rental bike was more broken than his body, and it soon became unrideable, leaving him with no other option but to take a cab to the ferry and get another cab from the southern tip of Manhattan to meet the rest of the team at the entrance to Central Park. Thank heaven for friendly New York taxi drivers.
You talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me?
Having lost one member, the riders were not prepared to lose another. So when one of the pedals on Nathan Groom's bike sheared off, there was no way that they would leave him behind. With more than a little help from the team, Nathan pedaled with one foot and was pushed and pulled along for over 20 miles.
One wheel on my wagon, I'm still rolling along.
Been a good look last leg so far. I'm heading into the Big Apple.
Are both your pedals working?
Yeah.
Unlike some. Ahead there, look. What's been the highlight of the trip so far for you, Paul?
Mate, do you know what? It's been brilliant from start to finish. It's really well organised. Met some great people. And it's a good ride, so I really enjoyed it. Nice first challenge I've done for a couple of years, so it's been really good. And obviously we've raised a lot of cash for a great cause as well.
Staten Island turned out to be hillier and busier with traffic than expected, but the team made it to the ferry terminal okay, and once on board, were able to take in what can only be described as one of the world's most spectacular city skylines. And meanwhile, at the Bethesda Terrace in Central Park, some of their friends and family were getting ready to give everyone a warm welcome. The riders then headed north for 5 miles along the River Hudson Greenway, a traffic-free cycle lane that hugs the western edge of Manhattan Island before cutting across 85th Street to rejoin Steve Smethurst at the park entrance. Central Park runs downhill from north to south, which made the job of pushing and pulling Smeds and Nathan so much easier.
Smeds, how's your riding in Central Park been so far?
It's getting slung very shortly, John.
So what's wrong with
nice in helping hand off Mozambique here.
What's wrong with your bike? What's not wrong with your bike?
There's a few technical words I could say, but I'll leave them out on video.
The sense of achievement in this fantastic group was palpable as they made their way through the world's most famous city center green space towards a rousing reception on the Bethesda Terrace.
All right. Smashed it.
Yes! Well done! Woo! Yes! Well done! Woo! Yes! Well done! How have you found it? Yeah?
Eight down.
Mission accomplished. What a wonderful adventure completed by a wonderful group of people for a truly wonderful cause. As I mentioned earlier, all the funds raised on DC2NYC will enable Rugby League Cares to continue making a huge difference in the communities where this sport is played. If you're wondering, as I am, how much the riders raised, I think we need to know. And boy, have I been waiting to say this.
Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money!